What's going on, guys? It's your boy Hatter, FFL Commissioner, and I got my boy today, long snapper for us, the Commanders, Cameron Cheeseman. Man, how you doing, bro?
Good, man. How you been?
Hey, chilling, man. Look, I had to get you on here, man, because I feel like people forget about that position, man, a long snapper, and
Oh
we're
yeah,
gonna and we definitely gonna talk about that. But hey, man, tell me how's training camp's going right
dude. Training camp's been awesome. I mean,
now. Right,
first and foremost, just the fans.
right,
Like I've never seen anything like that. Obviously, going into year three, but my rookie year, we had our initial training camp at Richmond, and I mean that was a great turnout.
right.
But having all the fans in Ashburn come to our facility, like it is just crazy. And I mean, we love it. We appreciate it. It's just been a whole different vibe, and we've been using that as energy all around through
Right,
practice. But
right,
training camp's going good. Get the
right.
guys going. We're excited. So it's gonna be a good
And
season for us.
I saw a picture. I mean, last year's training camp there was like 3 4 people. I mean, I don't know if you saw that meme, but it
Yeah.
was out there. And now with the whole, obviously Dan being out the door and the new environment coming in, it's getting lit now
Oh yeah.
at the facility, and
Oh
I'm sure it's amazing to see and as a fan and as a player,
right.
and heading into this new environment, new era, man. How do you think we're all going to come together as a team and as an organization?
Yeah. I mean, first and foremost, it just seems like the fans have, a lot of fans that may have kind of went away and with how things were. I
Right,
think all the fans are going to come back out together and come behind us more than
right,
ever.
right,
And that just allows us as players to know that we have the community support, which I think is huge, especially in the NFL. Having
right,
fans that can fill the stadiums, have your teams back when our defense is out on the field. It's going to be loud, and that's the energy that we want as a team.
right.
But I just think as a team, we're thriving off of it, and we're
Definitely,
we're excited for the future going forward. Um,
definitely.
with the new ownership and the new coaches that we
Right,
brought in and everything
right,
else, it's gonna be great.
right, right. And with the coaches, EB.
Oh man,
Obviously, not a joke, and getting
mm,
those two Super Bowls. I mean, everyone's saying, "Oh, because of Andy Reid and all that." Well, no, I mean, EB had a big part of it, and
oh
he's with us now. And him coming in is putting a lot of fire, right?
yeah, oh yeah,
And it's gonna be amazing to see. How do you think that's gonna, improve us overall as
yeah.
a
I
team?
mean, having a coach like EB come in with his experience with the Super Bowl and being around a team that wins like that, I think that's just what we needed. We are always, my couple years of being here, we were on the cusp of making to the playoffs.
Right,
And doing something really special. So I think the more people we have in our building that have that
right,
experience, know what it takes to get there, I think
right,
that's only going to push guys, and the players are going to trust the coaches. I mean, they're going to
for sure.
know these guys know what they're talking about. They're going to lead
Right,
us in the right direction. So the
right.
guys are all on board, and I mean, I think we're going to be where we want to be at for sure.
Definitely. And we can't forget about a dude, a friend of ours,
Mm.
Tress Way.
Oh yeah,
And
Fortress.
arguably the best punter in the whole league now. Come
No
on.
doubt,
You
no doubt
you
about
can
that.
come you can anyone can comment on my podcast and say whatever. I'm finna block him because Tress Way is arguably the best punter, and he is the best punter in the whole league. How is him being beside you impact you as a player?
Oh, I mean, so it's going on year 10 for him now.
Right.
But ever since the day I first got to Washington, I mean, he took me under his wing, has invited me to his home. I've been close with his family already. I mean, he's one of my best friends on the team,
Right.
and it's all about building that bond outside the building too. I mean, like I said, meeting his family, doing things like that, but just going golfing in the off season, just going out for food. I mean, since day one, he's treated me like a brother, and when we go do things together, and it's just made me a better teammate myself because I see him and I want to do the things that he's done for me for the
Right.
rookies and stuff like that. um, and yeah, he's helped me developmentally, kind of guided me through what it takes to be successful in this league.
Right.
And I think in the long run, I'm going to look back when he's done playing and really appreciate, what he's done for me.
Definitely, definitely.
Mhm.
And now let's talk about more of you, bro. You feel me?
Oh yeah.
You coming out from University of Michigan, right?
Hmm.
Top class, right? Not a joke school. Coming out as a long snapper and getting drafted in the sixth
Oh yeah.
round, right?
Yep.
How did that make you feel, man? Getting a call, not a lot of long snappers getting drafted,
Right.
right?
Right.
Most of them getting undrafted, but you getting a call, man, and getting drafted by at that time the Washington football team, right?
Mhm.
How did that feel?
So funny story. I mean, I actually was going to go to dental school when I
Right,
graduated from Michigan.
right,
I definitely still wanted to pursue it, but at the same time, I was like, all right, if it doesn't work out, what am I going to do?
right,
So I actually got accepted into Michigan and Ohio State's dental schools before the winter before the draft, and
right,
I chose Ohio State. Told them I plan on coming here, come the August, whatever. But at the same time, I was training for pro day and for the draft. So
right,
when I got drafted, I had to call Ohio State. I'm like, yeah, I'm not coming anymore. But the feeling of being drafted, I mean, obviously every kid who plays football, they dream about their name being called. And for me, as a long snapper, it was something that happened in high school. And
right,
the older you get, as you progress through middle school, high school, you kind of come to the realization you're like, I'm probably not going to make it to the NFL.
for
Especially
sure.
at least that was my mindset because
Right,
I wasn't as physically gifted athletically, and it's like some of the other guys.
right,
Um, Comparing myself to a college player, for example. But when I found my niche and becoming a long snapper, I was like, maybe this could go somewhere. And
right,
throughout Michigan, running the pro style there, which prepped me for the NFL. When I got my opportunity,
right,
I'm taking full advantage of it, and I'm thankful for it every day. So it's
for
definitely a
sure.
dream come true, and I was able to share it with about 30 some of my family members that day,
Right, right,
because I told them, I was like, we were having a party because I was like, if I'm not drafted, hopefully I'll have an opportunity still.
right,
Um, but when I did get the call, it was actually pretty funny because Washington, they didn't have any more picks till the seventh round, and then they
right, right,
traded with Philly.
right,
So they came up back on the clock, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Washington!" Because I knew they were one of the teams that were, looking to take me either during the draft or after. So
right,
when they traded up, I was like, "Uh-oh, like what's going to happen?" And then, sure enough,
right.
I got a call from Ashburn, Coach Rivera, and the rest
There
is
you go.
history. But it was just a blessing, dream come true.
For sure. And I'm sure when you came in to the league, I'm sure previous long snappers, like for example, Sunberg or
Hmm.
whoever, I'm sure they reached out to you and kind of gave you a little, little tips and tricks, I assume.
Hmm. Yeah, there was a couple long snappers that I knew from. Not really close, but that was the coolest part. I had some, pro guys reach out and wish me congratulations.
For
Some
sure.
guys I looked up to and stuff like
For
that. So
sure.
it was humbling, and it was
For
just
sure.
it was just so cool.
And a lot of people don't know what you go through as a long snapper,
Right.
right? Now, obviously from the screen it looks easy, but there's a
Mhm.
lot of things that go into it. Now, tell the viewers a few uh things like a little you taste it as of being a long snapper and the things that that contributes and how to play that position and what you go through.
Yeah, I mean, for example, how it's kind of just mentioned briefly with the pro style in college, like 95% of teams in college, they run what's called the spread, and that's where the snapper
Right,
snaps, and then they just release downfield. They have the guy
right,
try to cover and make a tackle.
right,
In the NFL, we have blocking responsibilities.
right.
So that was a thing that I was already comfortable with. So when I got here, I was able to, use what my previous experience to help already give me a head start. And
Right,
that's the thing that separates a lot of snappers in the NFL and guys trying to make it is how good you
right,
can block and protect after you
right,
snap the ball. So you
right,
have to envision you have potentially a first round D lineman, defensive end, lined up just on your right shoulder.
right,
And you have to snap the ball perfectly. And then you have to get your head up fast enough to block this guy without him getting
right,
10 yards
right,
back to the punter.
right,
So being able to work on, simple things like my strength, and just being consistent.
Alertness.
Right. And just understanding the system, guys that cross, stuff like that you have to be able
Right.
to pick up these blocks. And on TV, as long as you get your guy, it looks smooth. But when you're in the trenches, it's a different story. I mean,
Right.
you got to be on top of it and, try to block out all the distractions when it comes down to it. So,
Right. Now, was there ever a time when you're lined up and you're about to snap the ball and the defensive, line is saying something to you, or trying to get in your head? Did that ever happen, or any experiences like that during the season?
so the only time in college it happened, for example, was we played
Right.
Northwestern. Somebody
Okay.
said something. They're like don't snap this over his head or something like that. It was like only once in college. And
Right.
then in the NFL, my only one experience is hilarious.
Right.
Was on a field goal against
Okay.
the Saints, I think my rookie year.
Right.
So as a snapper on a field goal,
Right.
I'm over the ball. You have all the O linemen, right? And they're
Right.
all waiting on, they need to know when the kicker's getting ready to be
Right.
ready. So I have to give what's called a down call to
Right.
alert the O lineman, like, get down, we're about to kick it.
Right.
So when we were playing the Saints, my rookie year, they're on the field goal block team, and I yell
Right.
down,
Right.
and one of the guys on the field goal block team goes, "You got any bass in your voice?"
Oh man.
And I laughed. I got off to the sideline after the kick, and I
Right.
was calling Tress and Dustin Hopkins. He was here at the time.
Right. Right.
And then so the next time we went out there, I mean,
Right.
I was like, "Oh, they're not going to say something about that anymore." So I said, "Down," like as loud as I could, as
Right.
deep as I could, and then I hear him go, "Oh, there it is."
For sure. Hey,
But
that's hilarious.
you believe it or not, you don't really hear it much. I mean,
Right.
guys
Right.
are locked in, and
Right.
I mean,
Now.
I mean, I've been in 2 game winners now, and
Right.
even in the game winning kicks, didn't hear
Right.
anything. And
Right.
I
Right.
don't know if they were, and I was just so locked in I couldn't hear them. But you know,
Right.
I know
There
some
you go.
guys like to mess with the snappers because
For sure, for sure. I'm sure they do. And now, obviously, we got new competition. We got, our guy Badgley in the
oh yeah,
building,
yep.
and obviously him and Slye going at it. Um, from your perspective, Badgley coming in, and Slye. Who do you think it's gonna be? I would say gonna be the first runner up.
It's tough. Can't really give you an answer. I mean, obviously we've been this will be our second week now that we've been going. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
they're both just so talented. I mean,
Right. Definitely.
the leg power that you see on those guys and how consistent they are. I mean, they both hit such pure balls. I
Right.
mean, usually, obviously, I know who's kicking, but when the ball goes up, it's like, dang, like that's a good kick,
Right. Right.
So, I mean, I'm just waiting on till we know, but the
Right. It's
whoever.
gonna be. It's definitely gonna be a good matchup to see. I'll
No
tell you that, and I'll tell the viewers that because Slye. He's a tough dude, man.
Mhm.
Obviously, not only does he kick, man, but he knows how to lay hits too, and
He's a big
you know
man.
what I mean. He's a
Oh
big
yeah.
man, so definitely. So it's definitely gonna be good to see in training camp, and then and see when the season starts for sure.
Oh yeah.
And obviously now let's talk about you also do cooking on the side, man. You like to cook,
I
and
know.
you and me, man, we both part-time
Oh yeah.
chefs, man.
Oh yeah. I love
So and I know you got a page going on. I definitely put that in the description with your cooking page. How's that going?
So, obviously, now that we're getting into training camp and when we're in
Right.
OTAs, I kind of wasn't posting as much as I wanted to,
Right.
focusing up, I guess you
Oh
could
yeah.
say. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely something I've always enjoyed. Growing up,
Right.
my family they love to cook. My dad, he was a guy that, you know, even still now when I go home and he wants to
Right.
cook something or whatever,
For
whatever
sure.
we got in the fridge, he can whip up something really good. And I'm
For
kind of the
sure.
same way. Like people ask me, like, "What's
Right.
your favorite thing to make?" And I'm like, honestly, just whatever I'm feeling, but I do have
Right.
a really it's on my page, it's a jalapeno cheeseburger,
There you go.
like a jalapeno popper infusion of, like, a cheeseburger with,
Right. Right.
jalapenos and bacon and stuff,
Right. Right.
um, but I always mess around with ideas of potentially having a restaurant someday or,
Oh yeah.
even a food truck for that matter. I was telling Tress, I mean,
Right.
we
Hey
had
man, food trucks. Food trucks are definitely a thing to do. My brother-in-law actually has his own food truck, and he's like 20 years old, and he runs his own food truck. You know, and it's definitely going good for him. And food trucks is a right thing to do at the moment,
right.
I would say. So
Yeah,
definitely a good thing to invest in.
I told him, I was like, we got a great name. It's called Way Too Cheesy,
Right.
and
Hey,
we could do grilled cheeses,
look at that.
different types of grilled cheese. I'm like, hey man, we can just throw it up outside the stadium,
Right.
and think about that. How everybody would be buying something from there.
Well, yeah, for sure,
And we
man. I
got
mean,
food trucks
definitely.
at camp right now and stuff set
Right.
up, and I'm like, dude, we could have a food truck at our facility right now if we wanted to.
Right. For sure. I mean, look, I don't know. I mean, last year, the foods at the stadium was kind of, I ain't gonna really say much about that. But this year, hey, with the new environment, it could be different. But
Oh, yeah.
obviously, having a food truck there, man. Hey,
Right.
not only you gonna be doing long snapping, but you're gonna see those deposits on the side as well.
That's right.
For
Right.
sure, for sure. Hey, Cameron, I really appreciate you coming up here and sharing your thoughts and giving a view of how the season how it's gonna be this year and telling people a little bit more about the long snapper position, man. And I
For sure,
appreciate you
man.
for that.
Yeah, been a
Definitely,
pleasure.
for sure. Hey guys, good luck to you again for this
Thank you.
season. Anytime. And guys, more podcasts to come, man. Follow me on Instagram at FFL ESPN and on YouTube at FFL ESPN. So long, guys. Appreciate it, bro.
See you guys.